Hey guys, Joe here, doing a inadvertent pickup video. Now I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but I didn't anticipate doing it. I went to work at the GameStop and I had actually considered just quitting since I took this new management position, but I decided to keep it anyways because I like the guys there, I like getting stuff, and I like the extra discounts, and you know, what the hell, I don't quit. They can ask me to quit, but I won't quit. So anyway, today was a day like most days. I walk in, the place is destroyed, and it is very common in a business where there's not enough time for the employees to do multiple things. But the business, and GameStop is big business, don't get me wrong, but they don't make as much as some people think, because if they were to pay enough to keep enough employees to keep a place staffed like it was Walmart, they wouldn't make enough money to be able to continue business. So they run a very streamlined payroll there. I only take up 4 hours every week or so. So last few weeks it's been 4 hours every 2 weeks. I do it for fun. I don't make any money doing it. I make more money on YouTube videos, and I still haven't even made $100 doing that yet. So I didn't care. I went to work. I just wanted to hang out with my buddies, see if anything new came in, things like that. And while we were at work, I like to just kind of rifle through the trash when I get there. And I know it sounds dirty, but it's not, because it's just papers and things like that. And I grabbed some cases that were sitting in the crash. And one of the things I picked up was Little Big Planet 3, and I actually have this loose. Injustice: Gods Among Us, and Aragon's Quest. So those were the empty cases. Now these I actually bought because they were really cheap. Gran Turismo 5 Prologue, and that's the one that came out before the actual game came out, to demonstrate what the PS3 could do with the game. MLB 2K13, just because it was dirt cheap and I like some baseball games, so I thought I'd give it a try. Fear 2 Project Origin. I actually like some horror games every now and then. And then on the Wii, I got North American Hunting Extravaganza. Mainly because it didn't actually sell for that. That is the wrong sticker. That sticker is from blah 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 2011. So yeah, you can imagine, I think it was $1.99 or something like that before my discount. So that's cool. Before I went to work, this is a little out of chronological order, and I apologize. I stopped at a hospice thrift store that I stop at from time to time, and I like buying stuff from them, even if they don't have really good stuff, just because I am supporting a local charity and a local hospital, and that makes me feel better about myself. So I picked up a few Xbox games. I had a couple PS1 games, but they were really badly scratched, so I just didn't want to buy them. First one is Unreal Championships on Xbox. I can never remember what games are worth anything, but it's a game I don't have, so that made it a game worth picking up. Now these are all marked at $2 a piece, and that's what I paid for them, but I gave them an extra couple of bucks to put into the donation jar that they keep by the register, because again, it's going to the hospital. It helps kids, it helps disabled people who need crutches and wheelchairs and things like that, and I've been on that end of it. I've been on the receiving end of needing charity. So if you have the ability to help, please do, because yes, there are people that game the system because they just don't want to work honest jobs and they're a-holes. But for every one of those, there's 5 to 6 people that really need your help. So, and I hate throwing a name out there just because I don't want to get the backlash from it, but Goodwill keeps 96% of their donations for themselves. Now they do give people jobs, but the jobs they're giving are at Goodwill. They're not teaching people to go out and be able to be an office clerk or to work in a restaurant or to do something more productive. Their job training centers train them to work at Goodwill. Now, again, that's a noble thing, but to call yourself a charity, to call yourself a donation store is almost misleading. And I'm not complaining about their pricing. I'm not complaining about any of that crap, although they are very bad. What I'm saying is, if you're going to give money to a place that claims to give its money away, do your research. Find out where the money's going. Don't just blindly give your money to a company such as Goodwill, who claims they give all this stuff away, yet they're sitting in multi-million-dollar buildings. They're not using old facilities. You go to Salvation Armies, which give a much higher percentage, and of course Ronald McDonald House, which is the ultimate because that gives to hospitals where children are being treated, helps pay for housing for families, things like that. So Salvation Army work out of older buildings. They rent space. Usually it's tax-free, and usually they're able to move in for virtually nothing because it's a charity. Goodwill buys property. They buy massive lots of land, build a multi-million-dollar building, and then staff it with people that they hired through their job training center. In fact, the one near me has an outdoor mezzanine for its employees. They don't allow the public up there. It's just for their employees. A mezzanine in a Goodwill. That's it. I'm off the soapbox there. Anyways, another game I picked up was, I'm trying to get the sticker off it, and I apologize. And everything I'm telling you is easily check-factable. Go and look at and don't just look at Wikipedia. Go to Google, and I know Google, whatever, but go there and look at links that take you to things like CNN Money or Forbes.com, reputable reporting agencies, and see where that money goes. Sorry, done. Because I'm tired of the backlash. You know, I get all these people saying, oh, you're making this stuff up, you're making this stuff up. It takes you longer to type a bad review or trying to make me feel bad than it does for you to actually look up this information, because 99% of what I say, I fact check. The other 1% is usually my stupid ass videos. So please, if you'd like to have an intelligent conversation with me, I will be more than happy to do that. Back on topic. I got Blinks the Time Sweeper, which I've never even heard of. And it kind of looks like Bubsy. It kind of looks like something weird. So that looks like fun. I'll give that a shot. And the last one is Crimson Skies. I know nothing about that, but it says it's the 2003 IGN E3 Best Xbox Live Game. So that must mean it's like the greatest game ever. I don't know. Whatever. So we're going through most of the workday, and about halfway through my shift, a guy comes in. Now, this guy comes in from time to time, and I'm 94% sure that he's selling stolen property. And obviously, there's no way for me to prove it because he doesn't usually trade in anything that needs to have its numbers recorded. But he calls up and he says, hey man, how much will you give for an Xbox 360? And I go through the whole thing because there's different styles. There's the original fat, there's the 4 gig slim, there's ones with internal hard drives, then there's also the E model. So we go through all that and we determine that he has a first gen big fat one with a hard drive on it and a wired controller. It wasn't even a Microsoft controller, it's a Rock Candy controller. But he comes in, and I tried catching him before he hung up the phone because I could tell that he was going to do this. And he brings me just the system and the controller. You can't do that at GameStop. You have to have the controller, and it has to be first party. Now, some places will just take it in even if it's not first party, but our store is a little bit more particular because we have to resell this stuff. It's not just you bring us your stuff and we just throw it away. You bring me something, we have to make sure it works, then we have to sell it to somebody. And the rule that we work off at our store, and some stores may be different, but our store is, if I wouldn't feel good letting my mother buy it for my brother or my sister or my niece, nephew, whatever, I don't want it. And I'm also that way about discs that are heavily scratched. Some stores will just take the heavy disc scratches and then they'll just sell the disc and wait for the customer to come back, complain, and give them another copy. I won't do that. I will look at every single disc, make sure that there's no laser burn, which isn't actually laser, it's when your disc is skipping all around. I'll also look for gouges, center cracks, things like that. If any of that is present, I'm going to A, not want it at all, or B, I may take it if it's resurfaceable, but I'm going to charge you for it. And there's just no way around that. Everything that comes in goes to a main distribution center if it needs to be refurbished. I believe that's in Texas. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we have to incur the cost of packaging whatever it is you traded in, sending it out, paying to get it fixed, and then it goes to another store. If it's marked out, it gets randomly sent to other stores. But still, we incur the cost, not the warehouse. So we have to keep that in mind. So again, if you don't think I can resell it easily that same day, you probably shouldn't even bring it in as a trade-in. Just word of advice. And I know this episode is kind of me being a bit of a downer or being a little bit ruder, and I'm trying not to be rude, but I want you guys to be able to go into the store, maximize your returns, make sure that you have a really good experience, because yes, you're walking into a business. Yes, the first stigmata is that you're going to walk in there and you're going to get ripped off. Kinda. Because again, depending on how old the product you're trying to trade in, how common that product is, it's all going to determine what you get. It's the same way with anything. I can't get as much for a 2000 Daewoo as I can for a 2016 Impala. That's just the way it goes. So, that's why I'm a little preachy. Again, forgive me. So this guy comes in, and again, I know that he's probably stealing this stuff. You can't prove it. But he comes in, and he came in without the cords, of course, and he had this. It actually looks like it's in okay shape. At least the faceplate does. All the doors are good, and that's the most important thing to me. It looks like it's been opened before, but I don't really care about that. It has a 20 gig hard drive sitting on top, and you can tell that because a 20 gig hard drive is the only one that won't say anything. Now, some of them say 20 HDD, but for the most part, they'll just be blank. So I know that's a 20 gig, it's not worth anything. And then he had with it a Rock Candy wired 360 controller. It's not something we really want to take in with one of these systems, because then I'll have to take one of my originals out of stock and then swap it out. And again, you lose money when you do that. But he didn't have the power brick or the AV cable. And I said, look, you need those to trade it in. I have to verify that it works. He's like, okay, I'll be right back. He never argues with me, which I like, but he always does the exact same thing. Like he's hoping to walk in and find the wrong guy. And it's happened. I've walked in and they've taken in things wrong. They've taken in Xbox Ones as 360s, or they've taken 360s in as Xbox Ones. And that's insane, because that can cost you hundreds of dollars every month. So he comes back about an hour later, and he has the system and the power brick, which I have sitting right here. It's plugged in right now. But yeah, he brought me the power brick, which I need, of course, and the Rock Candy controller and an AV cable. Now, we hooked up the system, and he must have been playing it on a really old TV or something, because I couldn't get it to work when it was in the store. Now, our TV for testing admittedly isn't the best, but I tried it with both his AV cables and his HDMI cable that we normally have. Now, we test PS3s, PS4s, things like that on. Could not get video to work on this thing. Could have been that the signal coming out of it's not as good, whatever, I'm not sure. While I was getting all that set up, he's like, hey man, do you take PSPs? And obviously we don't. We take Vitas, we don't take PSPs. And I'm like, no, but let's talk about that after we figure out what's up with the 360. So I couldn't get it to work, so he was going to leave with the 360, and then I said, how much do you want for the PSP? I threw out the battery because it looked like it was literally ready to explode. I mean, it was way expanded on the back. It's supposed to have a curve on the front where it says Sony, but the back should be flat. If you have that situation, immediately take that battery out of your system. What happened is that it overcharged the cells because they probably were using the wrong charger that didn't disconnect the current at a certain level. And what happened was that battery took way too much power, and it eventually corrodes the seals between the cells. And then that causes it to build up gas, basically. That battery could literally explode if you put enough current through it. So I threw that away. I've got a spare one over there. Haven't tested it yet because I just literally walked upstairs with it, but it looks like it's in super good shape. And inside the system, now you guys know me, I'm a driving car guy, so it had Test Drive Unlimited in there. And he told me there was a game in there, but I didn't say anything because secretly I'm hoping Legend of Legaia, or some weird $800 million PSP game. But it was just test drive, which is fine. I don't mind because I don't have it. And of course I pick up and of course I'm picking up PSP games as I go along casually. I pick up a few here and there, like that weird thumb game thingy. So his system doesn't work. He wanted to just trade in the controller. This controller trades in for $6. Now, GameStop is currently doing their same cash as trade, so he would have gotten $6 for it. But obviously he didn't just want $6. He brought me the whole system. I'm sure he looked online and saw that it trades in for $15. Now, is that low? Kind of, but these systems are old. They don't have Wi-Fi. They're not very reliable. We don't sell very many of them. You have to add an adapter if you want it to go online wirelessly. Otherwise, you have to use an Ethernet cable. So I was like, look, I'll give you $12 for everything. I pulled that number out of my head. I've bought a lot of stuff for $12. $12 seems to be a magic number. I'm not sure if it's because the person I'm saying it to is thinking that I'm actually thinking about the number, but my thinking was I can trade this in for a little bit more than $6. But I'm not going to because I needed this end cable. Now this end cable has a USB adapter on it, but it's also usable with the wired Xbox One controllers. Now I have a Captain Phasma Xbox One controller that I want to use with my laptop. I could use this with it too, but let's face it, it's a 360 controller. I'd rather have the Xbox One. I think the controller feels a little better, but it's also a Microsoft one. This is a rock candy, and who knows how long that'll last. But I could use this as a play controller, spare controller, give it away with the system controller, because now I have 4 working Xbox 360s that aren't played. Don't know, don't ask, just do. But basically what that means is, if you discount the $7 that I would get back for that controller, I have $5 into a PSP, and as this next clip will show, a working Xbox 360. Now, again, I didn't try to rip this guy off. We tried for 20 minutes at the store to get this thing working. So it could just be that my monitor that I use can pick up the signal better off the HDMI. I didn't try it with the VGA. There's also the chance that the system didn't reset the video correctly because of the TV we were using at the dealership, at the store. Anyways, either way, he wouldn't have sold it to us because we wouldn't have taken it. We would have given him $3 or something like that, so he wasn't going to do that. Plus, by giving him that little bit of money, he actually turned around and bought Fallout 4 from us. So we took a no-sale, angry walk-away possibility and turned it into a $21 sale. Is that a lot of money? No, not really, but you do that 15, 20, 25 times a day. 25 times 20 is $500. That's a lot of money in a day, believe it or not. You look at a lot of these mom and pop shops that are operating, if they do $100 to $150 a day during the week, that's good. If a GameStop does $150 during the day, that's bad. That means there's something seriously wrong with the store or the location, or something is wrong and they need to work on it. So, again, GameStop is a big business. It needs to make money. It's not just out to make money. They have to make money. There's no reason to be in business as a for-profit company if you're not going to make money. Am I forgiving any of the a-holes that sometimes work at them? No. But I can honestly say that the store that I work at is full of good people with great intentions. Some of them are a little bit off, some of them are a little bit lackadaisical, but with the proper training, you can bring anybody along. And again, I'm a different story. I'm a very, 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 very part-time employee, but they always want me to stay and work. They always want to give me extra shifts, and unfortunately, I can't because of my actual regular job, which pays the actual bills. But If I could, I would love to, because that store has so much potential. The people there are great. I think it's going to do well. And hopefully I can just train people as I'm there every week. So that's about it. I know this was long and ranty and more of a rant than it was a pickup video, but I just wanted to show you guys that I am still actively looking. I don't have as much money as I wish I could right now. Job's pay period, but that had to go to pay bills and into the beginning of the new pay period for the new job, so I only got paid for a day and a half at the new job. The rest is going into the next check. So until the 10th-ish, I'm broke. So if I do anything, it'll mostly be trades, or I'll just trade in stuff I don't use. Again, because of their current trade and cash is the same, it's worth it to me to get rid of some stuff. Like, I had 7 Xbox 360 controllers, all different brands and customs and stuff, but I pared it down to my favorite 3, and I am actually going to finally get rid of my Halo ODST one, because I'm picking up another one of these ones. I don't know, this one's been with me for a while, but I don't need it. To be quite honest, it has the slightest bit of drift in it, but not much. It's probably something that if you just kind of blew some air in there, it would probably work better. And yeah, then I'll be happy. Let's see, anything else I want to talk about? Not really. There is a car video coming up later today, so keep your eyes open for that. I will be reviewing a used car because it's the only thing I can get my hands on on short notice, because I haven't sat down and made sure with my new employer that they'd be cool with me making these videos. That's one of the things I regret from leaving the other company, but I think I have more freedom with this new company, and I think it's going to pay dividends. So keep your eyes open for that. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you hated the video, well, you're obviously not human. And other than that, yes, this is a giant jar of peanut butter because I like peanut butter sandwiches. Oh, also, I have started working out, and I'm sore. I've never actually worked out in a gym other than when I tried to rehab my neck after the herniated disc. So I worked out for about an hour yesterday, and I know that's not a lot of time, but I tried a bunch of different machines just to figure out how they worked. And boy, am I sore, but I feel really good. So I'm going to keep a track of that progress too. Right now I'm at about 240 pounds. It fluctuates, 229 to 245, depending on, you know, how much water I've had, what time of the month it is, whether or not my aunt wait, I'm a guy. Other than that, yeah. So, yeah. So subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. I do try to keep them a little bit more random on purpose. That is because I don't want to get tied down as one kind of YouTuber. I don't want to just be a vlogger. I don't want to just do car reviews, although that's the vast majority of my views. And I don't want to just be the video game guy. I want to be a guy who does whatever he wants, because I'm not trying to cater. I want you guys to come along and see, wow, this guy's nuts. His brain is all over the place. And that is what I think works for me. And I really appreciate it. I watch every day because I'm that kind of a nerd, and I check the daily view counts and I check which videos are getting hit. And again, I'm not going to tailor it to anything, but wow, you guys have stepped up huge, and I greatly appreciate that. Thank you guys so much, because when I started actually watching the analytics and my AdSense review, it was starting right at the beginning of the month, and quite frankly, I didn't have a whole lot of subscribers. I still don't, let's face it, but I picked up like 10 this month, and that's fine by me. Maybe it'll pick up more, because the other thing I saw was my daily view count went from 80 to 100 views a day, which is not much, to now we're closing in on 700, 800, 900 per day. I had a spike of 1,000, but I think that's because I put 2 videos up and they were both car related. However, I can't do that all the time, and also I can't guarantee that I'm going to do 2 a day, although today when you're watching this will be the first of 2, just because I planned it that way. So yeah, long convoluted conversation over. I will talk to you later, and in the next video we will see what happens. Cross your fingers.